Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most famous topics I believe that comes from our show is a mantra that we originated, which is this thing called hashtag DDTD. Date thugs. DDD. Date thug. DT. Okay, so let me just say it since I can't get my own acronym correct. When you date thugs, you date death. And the reason that I say that is not to say that everybody who's had a rough life or has a background are bad people and nobody should deal with them. But what I am saying is that when you have children and you decide to procreate, I think it is extremely important that you make sure that you are very aware of the dangers that are presented when you have children with certain types of people. I could even point the finger at myself on that, okay? But I think it's definitely, we have to make sure and put our children in the most advantageous positions to be able to grow up and become something great. But this story is coming out of New York. I cannot talk. But let me go ahead and give you guys a disclaimer real quick, because some people tend to get a little thin-skinned when I get to talking about stuff and giving my real opinion. So some of y'all might find my content offensive or controversial. The information is coming from many different reliable sources, so you can look them up. This video commentary is about my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to make sure and use these as cautionary tales so that we can end this violence against our children. Viewer discretion is advised, and that is your official disclaimer. And yes, I still have to do that to this date. A New York man has been accused of shooting and killing the mother of his baby daughter, and he has been indicted weeks after his arrest on murder and weapons charges. Isaac Argro, Argro. I've never even seen a last name like that, but that is this individual's name. Let me see if I can go back. This fool, this awesome young man who was probably on his way to college and probably was a model citizen, right? This young man that you see right here, 23 years old, Isaac Argro, allegedly shot and killed Azsia Johnson, and her name is spelled in a unique way. It's Azsia, Azsia. Azsia Johnson was 20 years old. Beautiful young lady. Let me see if I can show you right here. I'm going to tell y'all. I used to do a little photography, and I got to tell you, as much as I don't like what the picture represents, that is a very well taken picture right here. I'm like, wow, that is a high quality picture. Made her look like $1,000,000. It's a really, really nice picture. She's a beautiful girl, beautiful son. And as y'all can see from this picture, she's pregnant. It's so funny how we're quick to praise these pictures and show these women love and pat them on the proverbial ass because they're out here getting pregnant and pumping out these babies like they're going out of style and having no structure for these children to grow up under. But before I even get into any of that, let me just give you the story. That woman is 20 years old. Damn, 20 years old with 2 kids? 20 years old. So that means she was getting pregnant at least by the age of 17. Just, man, boy, if I was a father, I'd be pissed. This woman was shot at point blank range in the head. Let me repeat that. This little dangerous little thug booger was so mad at her, he walked up on this woman and shot her in the head at point blank range. On June the 29th, this was not that long ago, and this was while she was walking with their 3-month-old child on New York's Upper East Side, according to prosecutors. And I'm getting this information from lawandcrime.com. So if y'all want to get mad about, oh, just Jay, you ain't got all the facts, well, go talk to lawandcrime.com. Go email them and tell them that they wasn't there and they don't know the facts and they got their information wrong, okay? But this fool was arrested days later on July the 1st. According to prosecutors, Isaac, I'm going to call him Isaac because I can't pronounce his last name. Isaac, the boyfriend, or the ex-boyfriend, lured Azsia to the location, allegedly asking her to meet him so she could give her items for their daughter. So he could give her items for their daughter, In a move that would later help catch her alleged killer, Johnson shared identifying information about Isaac before they were supposed to meet that day. Before meeting Isaac, Azsia sent text messages describing exactly where she was meeting the defendant and what he was wearing when she saw him, which matched the accounts of the 911 callers following the incident. And this is according to a press release from the Office of District Attorney Alvin J. Bragg Jr. When Isaac showed up, which is the ex-boyfriend, there's a reason why I'm saying ex-boyfriend, he didn't have the promised items. So he said that I'm going to bring you these things, and he showed up and he didn't have any of those things. Instead, he was allegedly prepared for violence. Isaac arrived at East 95th Street between Lexington and 3rd Avenues without the supposed items, dressed in black with a ski mask over his face. The press release said, and then Isaac then shot Azsia at point-blank range in the head and then fled the scene. Video surveillance captured Isaac discarding his clothing to avoid law enforcement and apprehension. Johnson was reportedly pushing her daughter in a stroller at the time. So if you guys saw this in the news, and that was probably the biggest headline that you saw, that it showed that a woman in New York was pushing her baby carriage, just minding her business, and somebody randomly walked up to her and shot her in the head. That was the narrative initially. So if you guys saw that story, this is the furthering of that story. That was not a random shooting. That was not a random killing. This was a man that she knew quite well. This was her ex-boyfriend. Keep in mind, she was pregnant, I should say, was. The baby was not injured. According to the DA's office, Isaac called Azsia's family and inquired about the whereabouts of his child. He also threatened another individual who knew her, saying they were next. Bragg pleaded to bring Johnson's alleged killer to justice. Committing this type of killing in front of an infant is horrific, and I cannot imagine the pain that Ms. Johnson's family and loved ones are experiencing. Bragg said in a press release, I want to make it clear that we will pursue full accountability and justice in this case. Let's keep going. Now, court records show that Isaac Argro, I cannot say that, appeared in court on Wednesday and pled not guilty. He is currently being held with zero bail, and his next court appearance is on October the 19th. As local NBC affiliate WNBC reported, Isaac Argro allegedly had a history of domestic violence and had allegedly committed at least one assault against Azsia Johnson before the child was born. How many times have I said this, and how many times have people argued with me when I said background checks don't make or break anything? All it does is it gives you information about a person that you might need to look at. It doesn't make them, well, let me not say that, because sometimes it does make you a bad person if you out here whooping women's asses. Yes, that might make you a bad person, especially if you have that on your record. But I actually have had people argue with me and tell me, well, you know, you like, does everybody get a background check? Yes, I think everybody should. I think you should be well aware of what you're dealing with, especially when you have children. You're bringing your children around somebody, or when you start having children by someone. Yes, I think you should know their background. At least try to. Do your due diligence. You would have found out that he has a history of domestic violence, aka whooping asses, and had allegedly committed at least one assault against this woman before the child was born. Isaac also allegedly threatened Johnson after the baby's birth. The reports of the domestic violence are under investigation, according to WNBC. The NYPD is also reportedly investigating a domestic violence claim from Johnson against a different man in January of 2021, according to WNBC, citing NYPD officials. Since Johnson's death, her family launched, what else? A GoFundMe. I'm sure you guys would like to see that GoFundMe. See if I can get that on the screen for y'all so y'all can see that nobody believes in life insurance but we believe that these benevolent people out there, who I tend to call white people, are going to always fill up your pockets with GoFundMe money whenever you put up a GoFundMe. So in this particular GoFundMe, they were asking for $19,000. And again, I want to tell you guys, I'm not against GoFundMe, but what I am against is when we take these opportunities and put money into people and put this money into the ground. And we won't make this type of investment in real people's lives like when they're living. We'll wait till somebody dies and we'll say all kind of wonderful things about them. They were the pillars of society. They were awesome people. But we'll wait till they're dead, but we won't tell them nothing. We won't reach out and tell these people anything while they're alive. I just think it's a really, really crazy thing that we do. We support people when they dead. Isn't that something? $19,000. She, Lisa Desort, has collected up to $19,891. So they have met their goal. I don't know what goal they're trying to accomplish, but nonetheless, the GoFundMe is there. They say that we're picking up the pieces of this tragedy little by little, and all of your support and messages are helping us in the most positive ways. An organizer wrote in an update to the fundraiser after Argro was indicted. Police shared this fundraiser to bring awareness on how serious domestic violence is and how the law should be changed and not be taken lightly regarding the apprehension of abusers. Some of you guys who have watched my channel long enough already know what I'm going to say. What is my mantra? Anybody want to tell me? You live by the thug and you die by the thug. I'm sorry, I just don't have a lot of sympathy. If you know that the stove is hot and you take your hand and stick it on a hot stove. I just don't have a lot of sympathy if you know that drinking and driving is not a good mix and you decide to go get drunk and drive a car and have an accident. I just don't have a lot of sympathy for people like that. I don't have a lot of sympathy for people who hurt, murder, and abuse our children and they end up getting life sentences. I don't have a lot of sympathy for people like that. In turn, my point is when you date thugs and you deal with these type of people and you decide to have children by the thug lion and take your children to the thug zoo, and all of a sudden that thug lion's nature starts to come out and that thug lion decides to attack you. Well, that's what the thug lion does. What the hell did you think it was going to do? Right? It's hard for me to have sympathy for people who know certain lifestyles are dangerous. Like on paper, you think it looks cute when y'all taking pictures together, like he looking all hard and dangerous and protective. And then you're sitting there looking all cute and dainty in your pictures and it looks like it's a good match. And y'all go make some beautiful babies and blah, 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 right? A lot of y'all ladies out there kind of know women that speak like this and think this way. That's really why I wish that a lot of these younger ladies will start watching these videos and really understanding that the message that I'm trying to put out there is you have to do what's best for your future. But if you already have kids, which a lot of these young ladies do, especially after the age of 20 years old, then you have to start doing what's best for your children and not what's best for your own personal pleasure. Let me go ahead and give you guys the fair usage. Show y'all the news videos. Let's get it.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Sorry about that. I just realized how loud that was. If you guys would, do me a favor and please click that thumbs up and share this video and let more people know that we're here talking about this story. Simple thing to do. Close that chat, hit that thumbs up, open the live chat. Let's go ahead and have this discussion. Let's get it.
A 20-year-old mom was shot in the head as she pushed her newborn in a stroller. Her killing is being called another bleak episode in a wave of gun violence that has gripped New York City.
The slaying happened here around 8:30 p.m. on the city's Tony Upper East Side, the site of multi-million-dollar apartments, world-famous museums, and high-end stores. Cops say a hooded man dressed all in black came up behind the young mother and shot her in the head, just feet from this school playground.
When a mother's pushing a baby carriage down the block and is shot in point blank range. It shows just how this national problem is impacting families.
The 3-month-old girl is unhurt. Authorities say the mom, Azsia Johnson, was targeted. She can be seen proudly showing off her baby bump shortly before the birth. No suspect has been named, but police reportedly want to question the baby's father. Another blow for jittery New York.
Certainly, this is one that shocked and stunned the city. This mother who was just pushing her baby in a stroller when all of a sudden she was shot to death on the street on the Upper East Side. A manhunt ensued ever since. And then finally, yesterday, police tell me the Regional Fugitive Task Force picked up the suspect, arresting him for this murder. And as he was led into court overnight, he told reporters he didn't do it.
Anything you want to say to the family? Innocent.
As Isaac Argro was led into a Manhattan criminal court overnight, he told reporters he was innocent. But the 22-year-old Brooklyn man is accused of and charged with the cold-blooded murder of his ex-girlfriend. Azsia Johnson was shot in the head on the Upper East Side execution style Wednesday night while she pushed the couple's 3-month-old daughter in a stroller.
Every time she texts me and said, "Mommy, he's threatening me," well, I'm on the phone.
Earlier this week, Johnson's mother, Lisa Dezort, told us she knew from the second detectives notified her that her daughter had been killed, who was responsible, and feared it was inevitable.
He's going to kill my daughter. And he killed my daughter.
The two had been estranged, and the 20-year-old victim sought refuge in a domestic violence shelter. But Dezort told us the city failed her daughter. Following Argro's arrest, Mayor Eric Adams said in a statement, "Azsia Johnson's family is hurting. They deserve justice, and we will deliver it."
He beat her up. He beat her up while she was pregnant.
Lisa Dezort spent the last 6 months worried about the safety of her daughter, 20-year-old Azsia Johnson. Last night, Johnson was shot in the head at point-blank range while pushing her 3-month-old baby girl in a stroller.
So I told my daughter, do not go anywhere without protection. Do not go anywhere without telling me where you're at. My daughter didn't tell me where she was at yesterday.
According to Dezort, Johnson was living in fear, staying in a shelter for domestic violence victims after the father of her baby assaulted Johnson earlier this year while she was still pregnant.
She wasn't allowing him to see the baby because he was violent.
Dezort said her daughter tried to get help.
Failed by the city, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel that they didn't protect my baby from January until now.
The NYPD has not named a suspect in Johnson's fatal shooting, but Mayor Eric Adams says
We strongly believe it was not a random shooting, that the victim was targeted.
it was just before 8:30 Wednesday evening, East 95th Street near Lexington Avenue. Investigators say as Johnson walked with her infant in a stroller, a man wearing all black approached Johnson from behind and shot her in the head. The baby girl was not hurt. Johnson died at Metropolitan Hospital an hour later.
She was trying to just redo her life.
Today there were calls for any potential eyewitnesses to come forward.
This person is still at large. He needs to be off the street.
And now this brazen shooting right next to a playground has left neighbors here on the Upper East Side stunned.
I don't want to say, I can't believe it happened in this neighborhood, but all of New York, it's absolutely outrageous.
Begin with that young mother gunned down while simply...
And they sit there and had people believing that this was something random. Stuff like this is not random. It's usually like somebody that you know. So it's a crazy thing.
Walking with her baby on a summer evening. Tonight, we are hearing from the victim's own mother.
Cops now say text messages recovered from her phone reveal she had been planning to meet her ex-boyfriend at a park.
Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson is live on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, where police are searching for the killer tonight. Kim.
Well, Liz, and that meeting was supposed to happen right here near this park, but clearly Azsia was worried things would not end well. The couple had a volatile relationship, one Azia's mother agonized over.
I knew it was going to come to this, and I told my daughter this.
Lisa's 20-year-old daughter, Azsia Johnson, who was fatally shot at point-blank range here on East 95th Street off Lexington Wednesday night. The mother of two was walking, pushing her 3-month-old daughter in a stroller when she was targeted. Sources tell Eyewitness News Azsia planned to meet the baby's father at a nearby park to work things out. But she was scared.
For some reason, she felt like she needed to be tracked, so she texted her sister and said, listen, this is my location, just in case.
That was right around 8:15 in the evening. The phone did track to this park.
It was like extremely loud, like a boom.
And then the hospital. Azsia was dead. The bullet that hit her then struck this parked car.
I text my daughter, Azsia, call me, because she wasn't answering the phone.
She's destroyed. I could hear her screaming last night.
Ebony is a neighbor and good friend, tells me Azsia adored her daughter and son, who turns 2 in August.
She just never wanted confrontation. She just wanted to raise her kids and just grow. She was quiet. She never had a problem with nobody.
Except her daughter's father. In January, Azsia filed a complaint against the 24-year-old for assaulting her in Queens. Lisa begged Azsia to leave him.
He beat her up when she was 6 months pregnant. I told her, if he beats you up once, he's going to beat you up again.
Azsia was staying at this shelter in East Harlem, but hoped to one day become a pediatric nurse.
Azsia was a good person, and she ain't deserved that. Some people were out there, not Azsia.
And Asia's baby girl was not hurt in all this. Police are looking to now speak with the infant's father, who may be staying with family here in the city. And at 6:30 tonight, a candlelight vigil right here.
Good. They definitely need more candlelit vigils as opposed to doing all these balloon releases. But again, I don't want to make it seem like I'm not sympathetic to this young girl, essentially this young mother. I guess I can't even call her a girl. I mean, she's grown. She's making grown people decisions, making kids. You're somebody's mother. So I have to hold you to that standard. And, you know, it's really sad that she met her demise this way, especially in front of her kids. That's just a horrible thing. But again, I know people say, you could look at it and say, like, maybe she shouldn't have met up with him. I mean, that's kind of obvious. You know, it's just like when you have somebody that you're dealing with that's mentally unstable, when you have somebody, matter of fact, let's look at it like this, because I don't think I really talk about this much. I think that women pair bond in a very unique way. And if I'm telling this wrong, somebody in the chat, please let me know. But one thing that I've noticed about women, I could be completely wrong about this, is a lot of women, it's not all, but a lot of women will pair up with men that they normally wouldn't be able to get with a woman like this, and they'll choose that man because that man won't leave them. Because in that man's eyes, this woman is the most beautiful thing he's ever seen, and he's not going to go anywhere. Am I right or am I wrong about that? I've seen that happen quite a bit. But also when you do that and you pair bond this way, and you get this man caught up in his emotions and feelings that he's thinking that this is the best it's going to get and I'm not going to go anywhere. And then when you decide, oh, I'm ready to leave, this fool is crazy as hell. He beating on me and stuff. He already has a history of violence and you're ready to walk away from it. Well, in his mind, he's thinking, well, that's the end of the world for me. He has nothing to look forward to. You also have to think about this when you're talking about finding value. And I've talked about this. With these young men not having fathers in their life, this is that generation. It really kind of starts from my generation, goes on back from there, from the 80s, from the 90s to the 2000s. These are the young men without fathers. I can guarantee you, this SOB, I want to cuss, but I'm trying to keep it clean. I can almost guarantee you he didn't have a dad in his life. If he thought that little about himself, about his baby's mom, his ex-girlfriend, and even his own legacy, to take her life like this, you have to believe that he didn't think very much of himself. Now, why is that? Because as he was growing up, he didn't have an example of a father of what he should grow up and become. Didn't have a positive figure. Father figure, probably didn't have one at all. So what did he do? whatever his boys was doing in the streets, and you have a lot of these boys who didn't have fathers also, they tend to look to each other or tend to look to gangs because gangs end up being their fathers. They end up getting caught up in the system really, really quickly. They don't learn to respect authority. They don't respect the household. They don't respect structure. They didn't see that growing up. So if they don't value themselves, then that means that they're not going to value anyone else. Hello? Right or wrong? If they don't value, I don't know if this mic is working. Maybe this mic stopped working. I don't know if you guys can hear the sound of my voice. But if these boys that grow up into be men, keep in mind, he's relatively young, just as young as her. If he doesn't value himself, what makes you think that he's going to value anybody else? He's not going to value the law. He's not going to value education. He's not going to value work. He's not going to value growing up and becoming something great and laying a foundation so that his kids can have a legacy that will mean something going forward. So he didn't think nothing of himself. That's why it was so easy for him to just walk up to her and take her life and just end his own life. Just because he was a little bit sad that she decided to move away from him. To these women who say that it's hard to leave these situations, because a lot of y'all either have been through this or you know somebody who's been through this, I always encourage you, don't struggle to leave these situations. Just don't get involved. I'll say that again. Don't get on TV and get in these interviews and talk about, well, she was trying to leave him. She was trying to figure out how to leave him. How about we figure out how to not get involved with these unstable ass creatures? How about that for a message? I think it's really disheartening when we see this type of thing. You can come to my channel and video after video after video, I continue to keep giving these women examples and they continue to keep falling into these same pitfalls, these pit holes. I've been doing this just under 5 years. That means people have had up to 5 years and whatever views that have been accumulated on my channel to be able to hear this message, pass it on and show them and say, this is going to end up happening to you if you don't listen. Hard head make a soft ass. Isn't that what they say? But what I say is when you date thugs, you date death. And when you make your bed, you lay in it. You live by the thug and you die by the thug. How many more of these stories am I going to have to do before somebody starts listening? We are more invested into having fancy funerals than we are having a fancy lifestyle. And I think that is absolutely asinine. I just think that it's a bad way for us to be bringing children into this world. I can guarantee you at 20 years old, this woman had no way to properly take care of these children at 20 years old, especially dealing with a creature that's unstable like this fool here. Putting a young mother and a young man who has no future in himself together to raise kids, I just think that's a real bad combination. But we got to start stopping this thing. That's why this is a cautionary tale. And I hope that somebody who sees this will see this story and think, I don't want that to be me. I don't want that to be my daughter. I don't want that to be one of my family members or friends. And maybe we can stop this cycle together. But I thank you guys for listening to the story with an open mind and an open heart. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. That's what it's for. All right? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, damn, I got to give Texas another L. My home state, Texas, we're taking another L, and I really hate to report this, but nonetheless, we want to continue to keep giving our children a voice. But before I tell you guys the details about this story, let me give you a disclaimer. So some of you guys might find my content controversial or offensive, but my information is coming from credible sources. This is a video commentary about the facts of the story. The point is to use it as a cautionary tale in hopes to prevent these tragedies. Viewer discretion is advised, and that is your official disclaimer. I want you guys to take a look at this picture. If pictures could speak 1,000 words, wow, what would we say about this that hasn't been said about plenty of ugly people on planet Earth? I look at this and I'm just like, I don't know who smacked y'all in the face with a pack of Kool-Aid, or if they was in that Nintendo Switch game Splatoon. They look like some characters from Splatoon. Y'all ever heard of that video game? Maybe that's a little bit too new for some of you guys. Look like they took like they got to a paintball fight and lost. I don't know why they look like that. Just the fact that they look like that should tell you that they are mentally unstable and probably shouldn't be parents. But let me give you guys some details about these troll-looking hoodbillies. The parents of an 8-month-old baby in Texas are behind bars after their infant son died with a litany of head injuries earlier this week, according to authorities. And I'm getting this information from lawandcrime.com, so thank you for the article. Cameron Gamage, Gammage, and Layla Grace Pearson. These alleged parents were both taken into custody on Tuesday and charged with felonies in connection with their son's untimely death, which is that beautiful baby that you guys just saw go across my screen. That beautiful, happy soul right there. It is just unthinkable to think, like, why would people do this to babies and little kids? Like, if you don't want children, just how about not have them? How about that for a thought? You don't have to have kids. They have plenty of protection. They have plenty of prophylactics and birth control and just... We avoid all of that. Have the kid and then just abuse the hell out of the kid anyway. It's just insane. But that's why I also have a hashtag called Babies for Benefits. And I think that these people don't love these children. They only have these benefits because they're looking to collect benefits off of this kid. Whatever that is. It could be Section 8, food stamps, who knows. Gamage, who is 23 years old, who allegedly admitted to having extreme anger issues, is accused of inflicting the fatal wounds on the young boy and faces 1 count of injury to a child with intent to cause serious bodily injury, which is a first-degree felony punishable by up to life in prison. Authorities say that Gamage also acknowledged that he recently strangled 2 dogs to death. Just to make this story even weirder, even if their faces weren't weird and their hairstyle and all of that, what is that stuff on his face? Let me see if I can go back to that. It looks like he has like some eyeliner on. Like it looks like he has makeup on. Oh my goodness. So this man, and yes, y'all heard that correctly, he also strangled 2 dogs. Where's Peter when you need him? Pearson, the mother, who is 18 years old, is facing 1 count of criminal negligent injury to a child, a state jail felony punishable by up to 2 years in prison. Let me say that again. This baby had a litany. A litany. Do y'all know what the word litany means? I don't quite remember. I looked it up earlier. Let me tell y'all the definition of litany, because that is a very specific word. Litany means, where's it at? Repetitive series. Repetitive series. A litany of injuries. That means these injuries happen on more than one occasion. Multiple times. A litany of injuries. And you mean to tell me that this mother had no idea that this fool was violent? He had anger issues. He was beating on his child. You mean to tell me mom didn't know? So because I believe that the mom knew, I think that she should get just as long in prison as he gets. If he gets 100 years in prison, give her at least half of what he gets. But they're talking about potentially only giving her 2 years in prison. Think about this for a moment. That'll put her at almost 21 years old when she gets out. I could almost guarantee y'all, excuse my language, but she wasn't doing shit before she's about to go to prison. I don't think she's a good person at all. It doesn't look like she cares. Do you think she's going to be a different person when she gets out in 24 months? and maybe even before that. If you're talking about doing what, 80 to 85% of your sentence, your child is dead. What is she going to learn in 2 damn years? I'm going to just tell y'all straight up and down. All 2 years is going to be for her is just a period of time where this bitch ain't got to pay bills. She going to get 3 hots and a fucking cot. Excuse my language. One of the things that I despise is that they treat men and women differently in court. But in society, we want to talk about how men and women are equal. Women can do the same as men. They're just as smart. They're just as strong. They're just as capable. But when you get in front of a freaking judge, now all of a sudden, well, she's a female. When they get into a fight, well, she's a female. I think either you're equal or you're not, or you need to kill the damn conversation, not kill your kid. Hello. Huh? Too many times I presented stories just like this where the man gets a buttload of years and the woman gets off relatively easy. At 21 years old, all she's going to do is go get her another crackhead, go get pregnant, and abuse another kid. I can almost guarantee you, unless they sterilize this broad, which is probably not going to happen. According to a probable cause affidavit, arrest affidavit from the Odessa Police Department, officers responded to Gamage and Pearson's home at approximately 12:52 p.m. on Tuesday regarding a call for medical assistance. The parents live in the Brady Station apartment complex located on the 4200 block of East 52nd Street, authorities say. The caller told 911 dispatcher that there was an infant in the apartment who was unconscious and not breathing. Uh-oh, lost my page here. Let me go back. Unconscious and not breathing. Upon arriving at the scene, the first responders found the couple's son deceased in the apartment. The deceased infant had heavy bruising and swelling to the left side of his face and head, police wrote in the affidavit. There were also multiple smaller bruises along the top of the deceased infant's cranium. So he was being hit in the head. In an interview with investigators, Pearson said that she fed the baby at approximately 5 a.m. that morning and then fell back asleep. She awoke at approximately noon and found the child not breathing. How many times have we heard that story? I put him in the bathtub. Next thing I know, he was dead. I put him to bed, and next thing I know, I woke up and he was dead. I was giving him a bottle, and next thing I know, he started choking, and then he ended up dead. And then you come to find out that these babies were beat up as if they were in a freaking car accident. But all of these stories have the same narrative. You were doing something allegedly normal. Next thing you know. So you mean to tell me that you didn't notice all of this bruising and broken cranium and bruises on your kid's face? Like he got into a fight with George Foreman? You didn't notice that, ma'am? That's why I think 2 years is BS. Especially for Texas having super aggravated child abuse laws against children under the age of 10 years old. I don't understand how they only talking about 2 years. That's ridiculous. She then frantically attempted to wake Gamage, but he seemed uncaring and took several minutes to get up and help. When he finally approached to help, Pearson and Gamage still seemed uncaring. Following Pearson's instructions, Gamage called 911 and began CPR in accordance with 911 dispatcher's instructions, but they were unable to revive the baby. Sometime after he called 911, Pearson said that Gamage became apologetic towards her and told her that he hoped that she wasn't mad at him. Pearson allegedly told police that Gamage has extreme anger issues and that he recently killed several dogs by strangulation. And you wait until he kills your kid before you tell them that he out here killing animals? Ooh wee. In the aftermath of the baby's death, investigators noted that Gamage appeared apathetic at the scene and saying he remained unemotional and seemed to lack care about the incident throughout contact. The parents were brought to the police station for additional questioning. In a follow-up interview at the station, Gamage allegedly told investigators that he last saw his son alive between 5:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. that morning before he went back to sleep. Notice how they're not talking about he was going to work, perhaps? What did they do for a living? Probably nothing. Living off of taxpayer dollars, perhaps? When police asked Gamage about the bruises on the infant's head, he allegedly said that the injury came from the infant hitting himself in the head on a hard portion of the interior of his crib. I want y'all to catch that. This idiot, the one that y'all see on my screen, actually had the nerve to say that the baby killed himself. The police noted that this baby had a litany of injuries, and he said that this baby hit himself in the crib so hard on his head that he caused his own death. You just can't be that level of dumb. Upon further interview with Gamage, he admitted that he does have extreme anger issues and has been dealing with a lot of stress lately, including the infant's frequent crying. Last time I checked, I thought that's what children did. They cry. Babies cry. That's what they do. You have to soothe them. You have to take care of them. You have to feed them. You have to change them, keep them clean. That's what babies do. That's what it means to raise a human. He admitted that he recently strangled 2 dogs to death and attempted to dispose of their bodies to avoid getting in trouble. Good Lord. Woo. This boy is hella dumb. Gamage further admitted that 3 days prior to his son's death, on the evening of July the 9th, he woke up to his son crying at approximately 10 p.m. He allegedly went to go play with the child and began tossing the infant in the air to catch him, adding that Gamage was frustrated that the infant would not stop crying. Gamage claimed that he accidentally dropped the infant about the 4th toss, which caused the infant to land on his left side. Gamage reported that the infant hit the floor hard when he landed, according to the affidavit. He also reported that the bruising and swelling on the infant's face and head began after that, but he didn't want to tell Pearson in fear of getting in trouble. Gamage reported the infant began acting unusual over the next couple of days, and when he saw the infant deceased this morning, his initial thought was something like he killed his kid. I want y'all to notice something that he never mentioned. He never mentioned after you dropped a baby on the ground on his head, according to his own stupid ass words, you didn't take him to a doctor. You didn't call 911. You did not seek medical help for a baby being dropped on the floor. Huh. Pearson, the mother, allegedly admitted that she noticed the injuries to her son. Let me say that again, which is why I think she needs more than 2 years in prison. She noticed the injuries to her son and that the baby became more fussy in the days that followed. Days. Not minutes, not hours. But said that she did not seek medical attention because she thought the boy was just teething. In addition to the charges in connection with his son's death, Gamage was also charged with 1 count of sexual assault against a child. Did y'all hear that? Let's say that again. In addition to the charges in connection with his son's death, Gamage was also charged with 1 count of sexual assault against a child. Ronald McDonald over there on the right-hand side of the screen. Sexual assault against a child. According to a report from the Odessa CBS affiliate KOSA-TV, a grand jury in Andrews County on May the 19th indicted Gamage on the sexual assault charge, and a warrant for his arrest was issued. The offense in question reportedly involved a 15-year-old victim and took place between 2019 and 2020. Taking advantage, I'm assuming that's a girl. Nowadays, you really don't know. That could have been a 15-year-old boy for all we know. But I'm going to assume that that was a girl that was assaulted. We're just going to assume. Jail records show that Gamage's bond was set at $350,000 and Pearson's bond was set at $5,000 for a dead child. That's absolutely ridiculous. But let me give you guys the fair usage, and I'll give you a little bit more about my personal thoughts. Here we go. Let's get it.
Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
You guys can always show us some love. Very easy thing to do is simply click that thumbs up if you're watching this video. Close that chat just for a moment. Hit that thumbs up. Help share this video, okay? Here we go. Let's get it.
At the Ector County Sheriff's Office.
And Tatiana, family members say that these last 24 hours have been extremely difficult.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Last night, 23-year-old Cameron Gamage and 18-year-old Layla Pearson were arrested and charged for the death of their baby. Now, family members are speaking out about the death of 8-month-old Logan Pearson. Now, Odessa Police Department says that officers were called to Brady Station Apartments about a baby not breathing. And when officers arrived, they found 8-month-old Logan Pearson dead with swelling and bruising to his face and head. The child's aunt spoke with ABC Big 2 News about the family's pain and suffering they've experienced since finding out about Logan's death.
I just hope that he's at peace, and he was such an innocent little baby, and he did not deserve anything he went through.
Yeah, the couple is still in custody as of this morning. But stay with ABC Big 2 News as we continue to learn more. Reporting live at Ector County Sheriff's Office, Tatiana Battle, ABC Big 2 News.
ABC Big 2 News.
Developing now at 6, the father of an infant who died earlier this week has now been charged with capital murder. ABC Big 2's Tatiana Battle joins us live at Odessa Police Department. And Tatiana, just 2 days ago, the father was arrested along with the baby's mother.
Yeah, that's right, Sam. 23-year-old Cameron Gamage is behind bars for the murder of his baby. Police say that 8-month-old Logan Pearson was found dead with bruising and swelling to his head. Now, earlier this week, Gamage was charged with injury to a child, a first-degree felony, and since then, his charge is upgraded to capital murder for the death of his son. The baby's mother, 18-year-old Layla Pearson, was also charged in connection to the baby's death. She was arrested for 1 count of injury to a child by criminal negligence. Now, Pearson was released on a bond Thursday, but Gamage remains behind bars on a $350,000 bond, and there's no word if that will go up or change now that his charge has been upgraded. Reporting live at Odessa Police Department, Tatiana Battle, ABC Big 2 News.
Developing now at 6, 2 parents are behind bars tonight charged with the murder of their infant child. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Madeline Bierster.
And I'm Carson Bush, Joe. So OPD arrested the two late last night. Let's go right to ABC Big 2's Rachel Hallam, who is live at the Brady Station Apartments in Odessa.
And Rachel, the victim's loved ones are outraged.
That's right, guys. Last night, 23-year-old Cameron Gamage and 18-year-old Layla Pearson were arrested and charged with injury to a child after their 8-month-old was found dead in their apartment. The child's aunt spoke with ABC Big 2 News today about the family's pain and suffering during the last 24 hours.
He was my whole world, like, I don't even know.
The Odessa Police Department says Tuesday officers were called to apartment 721 at the Brady Station Apartments about a baby not breathing. Officers then found 8-month-old Logan Pearson dead with swelling and bruising to his face and head. An investigation led to the arrest of both the child's parents, Cameron Gamage and Layla Pearson. Brittany Pruitt is Logan's aunt and says he was her whole world. Now she just wants answers.
All I wanted to know when I heard about the situation, I just wanted to know answers, and it was just a big shock, honestly.
An affidavit from OPD says Gamage strangled several dogs and tried to hide the bodies to avoid getting in trouble. Pruitt says this is the most heartbreaking thing she has ever had to experience and wants to know why nothing was done sooner.
I just hope that he's at peace, and he was such an innocent little baby, and he did not deserve anything he went through.
Police also say Gamage admitted to, quote, accidentally dropping the baby after throwing him in the air and complained of the baby's constant crying. Since family members found out, the family says they're focused on each other.
I'm very angry right now. I'm very angry at the situation. We're all trying to just, be together right now and just support each other.
Pruitt says they just want justice for their loved one, no matter what.
I just hope that the justice for Logan, he gets what he deserves. That's all I hope.
Now, Gamage was also charged with sexual assault of a child out of Andrews County back in 2021. The couple is still in custody and have yet to have a bail set. Reporting live in Odessa, Rachel Hallam, ABC Big 2 News.
Again, in my personal opinion, I think for one, both of them are complicit in the death of this child. For mom's boyfriend or the father in this case committing the acts, the mother ignoring and seeing that this baby had been damaged and didn't do anything, didn't get our child away, didn't get this child any medical attention, essentially watched her child be murdered and didn't do anything about it. And she gets potentially facing 2 years and a $5,000 bond. 10% of that, $500 will get her out. $500. And with her being as young as she is, like I said, with her being 18, I can guarantee you she's not going to learn a thing from this. She didn't care about this child. She didn't love this child. And I think that's probably the most egregious thing about this story, which is why I wanted to present it to y'all and show y'all not only the dynamic between how the courts tend to look at this. I think that they need to be way more equal in punishment when there are dead children. There cannot be this level of leniency when it comes to people seeing something, not saying anything, and a child ends up dead. I think that we have to start putting our foot down more. I know in a lot of cases, Texas has done pretty good. I think they didn't do a good job with this one as far as the charges. Maybe they'll fix that as a court and trial come up, and we'll see what happens. But clearly, this man needs life in prison, but I think she needs at least, I'd say give her 20 years. What y'all think about that? She doesn't need to have an opportunity to be a mother again. She's going to do this again and put another child in danger. She's not going to learn a thing. But that man needs life in prison. He needs to be out of here. Just be done. But I thank you guys so much for listening to the story with an open mind and an open heart. But let me know what you guys think. Like I said, man, when you date thugs, you date death. And this is just clearly a worst case scenario. But leave your comments in the comment section about this story, okay? Thank you.
this wonderful organization that I'm proud to be a part of. It's called Bags for Kids, BAGS4KIDS.org. And check out their website. They really help a lot of kids in foster care, giving them a permanent piece of luggage and also a lot of items that they might need so that they feel that they belong, which they do. So go to the website, bags4kids.org. So go for it. It's a great place, and they're doing great work.
Exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.
What's going on, guys? This your boy, DJ Just J with Just Down TNT, and I am your humble host of the AFC podcast. And people ask me all the time, what is the AFC podcast? This is a platform for us to have open and candid conversations about children who are being taken advantage of by people who are in charge of protecting them. So sometimes we discuss the latest things going on in the news, but we advocate for children first. I get so many emails and comments from people that love what I do, and I want to continue to keep bringing content that matters to YouTube. And I would like to thank you in advance for your consideration to contributing to my platform. You can help support this channel by way of the links that are in the description box of each and every video. And also, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. I would like to thank you again and welcome to the AFC podcast, where we advocate for children first. We'll see you guys on the next stream. Peace.